I would love to touch now on leadership, because I think in the work that you're doing, it's so important that those in leadership become more self-aware, because as I say, the violence that we're experiencing is being perpetuated in a lot of forms that people that are perpetrators don't even realize that they're perpetrators, and some of them, they weaponize their positions of authority in society. And let's be honest, most of the people in positions of leadership are men. So how do we what kind of conversations can we now start having for us to understand all the forms of violence, how we can start deconstructing, and how women can feel a bit safer in society? Because women they aren't feeling safe anymore.
Yeah, no, thanks. So the state of women's rights, the state of equality in an organization, in a society, are a reflection of the moral maturity of the leadership in that environment. Okay. So leadership sets the tone. We cannot operate at a level that is higher than the bar that the leadership has set. Okay. So for me, it's very important then that conversations around equality and women's rights and a wholesome society, more broadly speaking, are framed around the quality of leadership that is setting the standard. Yeah. And because, as you have rightly pointed out, we opted for the boys don't cry narrative, and then we opted into patriarchy as our psychosocial construct of choice. So now we have got men in power who are emotionally illiterate, right? We have catalyzed, we have fertilized, we have put on steroids this very toxic construct and said that, okay, men now lead us. And I also want to say that in many cases, because of the general sort of opening up and getting and allowing women to become more involved in spaces of leadership without creating safety for them to be fully themselves, women have to shapeshift to fit into this man's world. And then the unfortunate consequence of that is that where they were supposed to bring diversity of thought, thinking, behavior, women in many cases end up also being gatekeepers of patriarchy. And so it's very important for an awareness to be, I think, raised and elevated, and to have the very uncomfortable conversation that we talk about diversity, equity, and inclusion, but are we really creating the safety for these diverse views, identities to actually express themselves in the room? Because just to be included does not mean that you are also able to have influence, right? And and that influence is still in the domain of men largely, who need to let go and truly embrace the value proposition that it is to allow our full and whole collective humanity to be present in any given room. So I think the leadership lens around equality for me is one where let's introspect, let's do this inner work that you've referenced, but let's also be very intentional that my inner work finds outward expression in allowing everybody to bring their whole self into the room of shaping the society that we want to see.